What's going on, guys? This is your boy T Will. We're here with Real Sports Talk with T Will. It's gonna be our first show today, and we're gonna cover a couple things. We're gonna talk about Shedeur Sanders. We're gonna talk about the matchups that we got this weekend in college football. We're also gonna talk about just a couple other things that kind of bother me when we talk about the Shedeur Sanders and talking about next year's draft class and trying to really reach next year when we still got this year that we gotta compete with. Also, we're gonna analyze, some of the other top quarterbacks that are supposed to be coming out this year, and the reality of the fact is that some of those guys should have came out this year, and to say that those guys are gonna be better than the guys that are already in the NFL, kind of find that hard to believe. Um, Last night we had USF and Boise. They played. Boise was ranked number 25 in the country. Obviously, last season they had came in, you know, college football playoff. They ran, behind Aston Genty, and that was pretty much the bulk of their offense. They had some wide receivers, but they weren't like top guys that you can, say they're going to be NFL talents. So what we saw yesterday is a team that is, realizing that they don't have Aston Genty, and they're gonna have to try to find a different way to win football games because South Florida they brought it. They put it all out there on the line. They played a really good football game, and it's looking like it's on the up and up. I really like South Florida's quarterback. He has a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. Um, and he seems to be, a really good athlete. And I'm really excited to see what USF is going to do this year, because I remember it was probably a couple years back when Nick Saban and Alabama had went out down there to South Florida, and they were challenged, and it's looking like South Florida's heading in the right direction, and it's going to be excited to see them. The next game that we had come up was, at least on my radar, was the Nebraska Cincinnati game. Now you come back and you realize that last season, you know, Cincinnati was a so-so team. They weren't very powerful, even though they got Sorsby. I believe they got that defensive tackle Coleon, um, and those guys actually played Nebraska really, really tough. Um, I know that Dylan Raiola was supposed to be a 5 star. I believe he was originally committed to um, Georgia, I think it was, and he was a 5 star. But it seems like this kid is it seems like he's overrated. Um, he forces the ball, he's late on throws, um, and he tries to mimic Patrick Mahomes when it doesn't really seem like he has Patrick Mahomes talent. Um, just watching that game, and seeing Nebraska struggle with playing against Cincinnati. Um, when it comes time to get into that Big Ten season, man, I don't know if Matt Rule's gonna make it the whole season because they didn't play USC, they didn't play Oregon, they didn't play Michigan, hell, they didn't play Michigan State. You know, when you got to play against Penn State, you got to play against Ohio State, you got to play against Michigan, or even I'd say the weakest spot we got right now in the Big Ten is probably Purdue, which is surprising because normally they're a team that can be tough. But when you're Nebraska and you're in the Big Ten, boy, I don't know. They don't look like they have a running back. Those wide receivers look so. Um, they don't really look like they're gonna make any noise. And for the most part, it looks like that if Matt Rule don't, I don't know if he's gonna make it to the end of the season. So we're gonna see that. Um, but yeah, and I give credit to Cincinnati because they played tough, and it seems like Nebraska had probably a little bit better roster, and that kind of showed on the scoreboard. But at the end of the day, that game could have went anyway. Um, but yeah, I think the big outlook on that game is that Sorsby is not really a throwing quarterback. He's more of a option type quarterback, and that showed. But just with Nebraska struggling with that, it just looks like they're gonna have a long season. We don't know what Oregon's gonna be. We don't know what USC is gonna be, but I can tell you this: I think they got better rosters than what Nebraska got, and even me being a Michigan fan, it's probably gonna be, probably. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a tough year for us, but when we got a freshman quarterback, you really don't know what to expect. And Ohio State reloading. We got to worry about those guys. Penn State, we got to worry about those guys. So, yeah, I'm kind of worried for Nebraska and Matt Rule because that was not really an impressive game. And speaking of the Big Ten, I sit back and I watch that Rutgers game. Do you know that Rutgers almost lost to Mac School, University of Ohio, not Ohio State, the University of Ohio, University of Ohio. Um, and if you're struggling with a MAC team, when you get into Big Ten play, you are gonna have some issues. You know, you ain't even just got to worry about just the regular suspects: Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. You got to worry about Illinois too. You got to worry about Illinois. So once the Big Ten season actually starts, we're gonna see a lot of teams that right now, it look like, man, a couple of these guys are going to be struggling. Rutgers, you struggle with Ohio. Nebraska, you struggle with Cincinnati. When you start playing the upper echelon of the Big Ten, it's going to be a little bit different. And I even think UCLA has a shot to actually, because they got a really, really good coach. He's very passionate, you know, very passionate about his university. And I think that, they showed a lot of grit last year, a lot of grit. And we're going to see some of these teams that were kind of down last year, especially UCLA, USC. I think they're going to be better. But Nebraska, Rutgers, you know, you guys going to be competing with Northwestern is obviously from what it's looking like. Um, but yeah, we got more to see. But that was not encouraging, and I kind of think it was a bad night for the Big Ten last night. You know what I'm saying? Just with Rutgers struggling and Nebraska struggling. Um, I know Michigan State plays tonight, I believe. A couple other teams play tonight. But that was kind of disturbing because I thought that, Matt Rule coming back, this season, normally in his third season, he's normally improving. That's what he did at Baylor. That's what he did at Temple. So I don't know if it's the same way right now. And you think, with all the tradition and all the money and all the passion and all the fans and the way that they feel about their team in Nebraska, it's just very surprising to see that these guys are like underwhelming right now. And if I was a Nebraska fan, I would be very concerned. Um, but we're gonna switch this topic up. We're gonna go and talk about the Colorado Buffaloes playing against Georgia Tech tonight. Um, just coming from last season, they're 9-3. Bad loss at the end of the season against BYU. Um, losing Travis, losing Shedeur, losing Jimmy, um, losing LeJounte, and some of those guys on the defensive side of the ball. You realize that their team is going to be different, and we don't know where the scoring is going to come from. We know that they still got the same defensive coordinator, Rob Livingston, and stuff like that. But I'm interested to see how Caden Salter is going to execute the offense. How is he going to get the ball down the field? Um, he's not the same kind of passer as Shedeur is, but he can run. It seemed like he had some pretty good seasons over there at Liberty. He was a top recruit back when he came out of Dallas. He originally committed to Tennessee, so he was a blue chip player. So he has the talent. He just ain't never been able to show it on the big stage. But the kid seems confident. He seems like he got a lot of heart, and I'm very interested to see how the guy's going to do. I know that they got Mamarion Miller out there at wideout, and a couple other guys. I'm excited to see what this defense is going to be now that they done brought some of those guys in. I know DJ McKinney is returning. Um, and they got Tawfiq Byard. He got a lot of heart. That dude plays with a lot of passion. And they got number 88 up there as well. But then when you look at the other side and you look at Georgia Tech, my mind keeps on going back to watching that game. One of the games of the year to me is that Georgia Tech Georgia game, and Haynes King and their running back and that offensive line just mowing it down. Especially the first game that they played in the season when they beat Florida State. I guess that should have been a sign to tell you then that they was going to be, at least a decent team. I'm not going to say that they was a great team, but they got competitors on that squad. They coach mean business. He coaches the fundamentals. He's a former offensive line coach, and you can tell that those guys are going to be ready to come into Boulder and try to handle business. Um, the only thing is that they lost their receiver Singleton. I believe he transferred to Auburn. Um, and they also had a transfer come in, Rivers from FIU. So they do got another weapon on the outside. Um, they didn't they didn't have a top pass defense, but the thing about them is they like to run the ball, control the clock, drain the clock, and they can't do a whole lot of 3-and-outs. You can't just throw. This year, if they're really serious about running the football, they need to show that they're gonna run the football, um, and we're gonna find that out tonight. I believe they feature Micah Welch. Then they got Track Hawk. I seen he was a new guy. And they got a couple other guys, I believe, that came in too. But we're going to find out if they can run the ball. They improved offensive line. They got Big Seaton up there. They got Chrysler from Illinois. They got another guy that came in from Tennessee. I believe he's Larry Johnson. And then they got another guy, I believe he came from Memphis. And people always say that, it's hard to get, linemen that transfer in and get that camaraderie and build that camaraderie, because, you learn that and that have that sense of feeling inside the game with each other, with years of experience. So it's going to be interesting to see if those guys can really, mow some of these guys down and, actually establish the run game, because if they can establish the run game and hit them with that play action, I mean, Colorado got so many wide receivers, man. It could get nasty, but they have to establish a running game, because I think if they just become just one-dimensional and throwing the football, it's going to be very hard to win that way, especially when Shedeur and Travis not being there. That's going to be very interesting to see. So I guess tonight we'll find out whether, they actually can run the football, or if they're still kind of struggling, getting a 1 yard gain, 2 yard gain, losing yards. That's not gonna work. They're gonna have to pound the rock. They're gonna have to be able to stop the run, because Georgia Tech has all those misdirections, moving, going here, not really going. You don't know which way they're going, and then the running back, he's gone the other way. And then Haynes King, that boy got heart. He don't mind getting hit. He don't mind delivering a hit. He a baller. Even though he's been in college football for a little bit of extra time, that guy has shown that he got heart. And this ain't gonna be no cakewalk for Colorado. So I think this is gonna be the test to see if Coach Prime has moved forward in year 3, and if Colorado is actually gonna be able to compete for the Big 12 championship. I'm sorry. That's gonna be very interesting to see. And then also you got Auburn, you got Baylor tonight, and that's going to be a very interesting game. I seen that Hugh Freeze, he's been recruiting well. He got a couple of guys in that should make a difference for his team. Baylor is coached by Dave Aranda, and he's a defensive coach, and he knows what he's doing. And them boys in Baylor, man. I'm out here in Texas. Them boys in Baylor, they gonna be ready to go. They playing in Waco, the home that RG3 built with his statue out there in front of it. Them Baylor boys gonna be ready to go. Now, one or two things either gonna happen. It's either Auburn is gonna go out here and they gonna win this game by a lot, or they gonna end up getting embarrassed by Baylor because Dave Aranda, he don't play around. He got his guys out there rocking and rolling. They ready to go and they ready to play hard. It's gonna be interesting to see because Hugh Freeze, he's at Auburn. He's got to win. You can't be in Alabama with that road tide over there, and you guys are still stuck at square one where you was at in year one. And that's gonna be very interesting to see. How he handles going out there in Baylor. It's gonna be a wild environment. And boys out there in Waco, they get wild. It's gonna be loud, and they're gonna be ready. So it's gonna be interesting to see that game. And then also we got the Texas Ohio State game. Texas Ohio State game, man. Oh man, listen. I don't know who Ohio State quarterback is, and I quite frankly don't care. If he can get the ball to number 4, and this is a Michigan fan saying this, if he can get the ball to number 4, then it's gonna be kind of hard for Texas, to do what they need to do. And the reason I say that is because you don't just go on a horseshoe and win a football game. I see everybody out here crowning Arch Manning, giving him all the support and giving him this and giving him that and all this and blah blah blah. Listen, bro. When you go in that horseshoe, you better be ready to go. I done been there. And ain't no environment where they about to just let you come up in Ohio and win. They don't. Ohio, they care about their football team. And when you get on that field and you in them stands, you gonna feel it. You gonna feel it when you get up in there. They came up to Michigan and whooped us, but we was sorry. You know what I'm saying? We had a 5th-year quarterback last year. Texas came into Michigan and beat us down. We didn't really have a good team. But Ohio State, they get 5 stars every single year. Like back to back. Like in Michigan, we got to develop our players. We don't get players like that. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, we always got to build we get a player here, a Rashawn Gary here, a Underwood here, but we not all like Ohio State. They get them all the time. Like they just in the back cooking up the stove and they got 5 more 5 stars walking through the door. So if you think that you about to go on Ohio State and whoop them, then you might want to reevaluate your situation. Arch Manning can be a Manning and all that is great. But you might want to reevaluate your situation when you go into that horseshoe. So to me, I feel like it's going to be tough for Texas. And I feel like, Ohio State going to come out with the dub because Ohio State is – I respect Ohio State, and I'm a Michigan fan. I respect them. They not nothing to be playing with. And I respect Texas because I done been down to DKR. I done seen Texas play. I was at the Alabama-Ohio State not the Alabama-Ohio State, but the Alabama-Texas game when they came down to Austin. I was at that game. And one thing that I noticed is that I understood why some of the people around town was saying that Quinn Ewers wasn't really what he was supposed to be. The guy was scared. He got nervous. Actually, in that game, he got hurt, and Hudson Card came in and handled the business. But, every single game that I seen Quinn Ewers playing that Texas uniform, he was always scared. He rushed. When he was calm and collective, he made passes, he made plays, but a lot of times he rushed, he overthrew easy routes, and he has the arm talent. He has everything that's there. It's just like, I think it's like something in his head. And I remember being in them stands and everybody's going, Arch, we want Arch. We want Arch. And I was like, yo, they trying to get this dude out of here. And he didn't transfer here from Ohio State. They ain't not even trying to hear. They want Arch. So I've seen Arch. I've seen him. I've seen him against some of the lower tier opponents. But I also seen him when he came in for those. Everybody's talking about his 2 plays. I seen when he came in for them 2 plays against Georgia. And Georgia was eating. Georgia was smashing them. And Georgia won that game in Austin. And I'm not going to try to like down the kid, but I want everybody to slow down and just wait to see what he actually is going to become, because you don't want to put all that kind of pressure on the kid and then he come out there and he can't handle it. Because I think this is the first time that he's going to be starting a game where it's actually, again, a legit foe. And you can't get no You can't get no better for it than Ohio State and the horseshoe, you know, on the weekend, especially on the first game. It's gonna be fireworks. So I'm excited to see exactly what those guys do and how they're able to handle it. But people crowning Texas and saying that they just gonna whoop Ohio State. Listen, man, I'm all Big Ten football all day, every day, and as long as Ohio State ain't playing me, I think that they are playing Michigan. I'm saying me, I'm being foolish here, but as long as Ohio State ain't playing Michigan, like I know that they're gonna probably whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what they do. I've been watching Ohio State ever since I was a little boy. Because that's what we do. You know, Michigan versus Ohio State, Michigan versus Michigan State, Michigan versus Penn State. That's what I know. Big Ten football. And like I said, do not try to crown Texas and say that they just gonna come in there. I hear the big guys that talk on the big networks, Paul Feinbaum and all them. Oh, SEC, that. What happened to Tennessee when they went to Ohio State? Did you watch that game? Did you see what happened to Tennessee? What happened to them? They got their ass whooped. That's what happened to them. So, you might want to realize what you're talking about when you're talking about it. Feel me? Because you can't just be saying that just because Texas got all these top players and they gonna come into the horseshoe and just whoop them. Yeah, right, bro. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. So we gonna see about that game. I'm hyped, man. I want to see it. Um, we also got and by the way, I'm picking Ohio State to win that game. If anybody wants to know, I'm gonna pick them. Um, the next game we got is the Florida State Alabama game. Florida State Alabama game is very interesting because that game is gonna be in Tallahassee, Florida, and Alabama is gonna be traveling in with unexperienced quarterback. Florida State got Castellanos, which transferred from Boston College. I seen him on the internet talking a lot of junk, and also it's just like I can't believe that this kid came from Boston College, got paid 800,000, and he's sitting up here talking cash money like he just about to go ahead and beat Alabama. Boy, you better stop it. Boy, you better stop it. You better stop it right now, because just because Nick Saban ain't at Alabama, bro, they still got 5 stars all over the board. They everywhere. You at Florida State, bro. This ain't Florida State Bobby Bowden. This is Florida State right now. And Florida State right now ain't that. So you might want to shut your trap. And I can't wait to see this game, man, because it's like some of these dudes, they get a little fame and a little publicity and they think that they all that. Castellanos is the same guy that quit on this team. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you go and watch the Boston College Missouri game, what happened in that game? Oh, yeah, right. They lost. So this dude that think that he all that, man, bro, you need to calm down and you need to respect. Even though Nick Saban ain't there, man, Alabama still got boys that's gonna maul you straight up. So you might want to watch your tone when you're talking about other teams, bro. You was just at Boston College. You just got to Florida State. Like, how is you already talking like you that? Come on, bro, chill out. Like, you need to go ahead and get your mind right. Just chill. Like, we ain't even trying to hear that. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see that game because, bro, you wouldn't already talked all that talk. I haven't heard Alabama say not nothing. That means Alabama about to come in there. They probably take the elephant in their locker room. He probably gonna run them over in there before the game even start because Florida State, bro. Do y'all know what y'all record was last year? Did you was did you watch it? Did you see what y'all did? Didn't y'all lose to Duke? Bro, listen. If I lost to Duke in football, I wouldn't say anything at all. Period. And this is coming from somebody that lost to Appalachian State years ago before they even moved to D1 or whatever, bro. You're Florida State and you lost to Duke. You might want to humble yourself. You might want to calm down. Um, I was trying to look and see if I could figure out exactly what other game we were supposed to be looking at because There's one more that I was very, very, very interested in. And I'm trying to see if I can see that game. You guys give me a second and let me see if I can find it. Um, there was one more game off the top of my head that I was trying to find out. Hmm. Hmm. We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. Yes, sir. We gonna get to it. All right. Yeah. Right here. LSU Clemson. LSU Clemson. The Battle of Death Valleys. Now, when you look at it, you see, let's scroll down. What we got here? The spread. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. So they predicting a 53.8 chance that Clemson win and a 46.2% chance that LSU win. That's interesting. That's another game that I'm kind of having a hard time looking at it and trying to figure out if you can say LSU is going to win, but Nussmeier, he a gunslinger, man. He a gunslinger. But Clemson is coming back retooled and ready to go, and Dabo got that team ready to go. So we gonna see, what those guys do. But this is a very, very underrated game. This game right here might be the game of the day because I'm looking at this game and I'm going, Brian Kelly. I don't know what kind of hot seat you're on. You might kind of be on one. But if you lose this game, you still got to go through that SEC gauntlet, baby. I don't know if they gonna let you make it through this season, bro, because that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough right there, bro. That's gonna be tough for real. Let's check out this full scoreboard here. Let's see what we talking about. See what we talking about. Okay, we got Illinois, Western Illinois, Iowa State, Canada. That already happened. We already talked about Boise State, South Florida. Yeah, we got the Texas, Ohio State, the LSU, Clemson. I just talked to y'all about that. I ain't even gonna waste my time on this Michigan New Mexico game. If we don't win that game, then we just don't even deserve to play football. I'm not wasting my time on that. Tennessee, Syracuse. That might be an interesting game because Nico's not gonna be there. Um, you know, that game could go anyway, but they're playing. Oh, that's a neutral field. See, those neutral field site games, I don't really play with those because you don't even know how it's gonna go. It can go either way. Indiana, Old Dominion. That should be a dub. Penn State, Nevada. That ain't nothing to talk about. Come on, Georgia Marshall. Come on, man. And this is a game that I was telling y'all about earlier. This Alabama, Florida State. That's gonna be an interesting game. But that kid talking all that crap, man. He set Florida State up for failure, I believe. You got South Dakota, Iowa State. See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is my issue with some of this crap, man. You got Oregon playing Montana State. Like, if I'm a fan, bro, I don't want to go to the game and pay for that. Like, what? You got the college football playoff now, man. Y'all need to start playing real teams, bro. You got to start playing real teams, man. All these cupcake games that they got going on, like, bro, you got to start playing real teams, bro. Like, this shit is no. Like, it makes me mad that one of my home games is wasted on South Dakota, or one of my home games is wasted on Montana State. Who the hell wants to watch that? Like, now you getting paid, y'all getting money. We need to step it up. Like, if you want me as a fan to pay for a product, y'all gonna have to step it up, bro. Step it up. Oklahoma, Illinois State, bruh. Florida, Long Island University. What the hell is that? Kansas State, North Dakota. Texas Tech, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Man, you can't be serious. Like, some of these games should be, you should get disqualified for like playing these damn games. Like, come on, bro. East Texas A&M, not Texas A&M, East Texas A&M. Bro, that's crazy. And then we got on Sunday, we got Virginia Tech, South Carolina, and then we got Notre Dame, Miami. Ooh, I forgot about this one. Ooh, that's gonna be an interesting game. This game right here, if we talking about Michael Vick, Virginia Tech, then okay, but Virginia Tech ain't been nothing for a hot minute. Like, excuse me, it's sad to see Virginia Tech fall as far, because they used to be respectable. But this Notre Dame Miami game is a big game for Mr. Carson Beck. Mr. Carson Beck, this is gonna be a big game for you, brother. A big game. Let's check out the game cast, y'all. Let's see what we got going on. A 54% chance Notre Dame. So y'all saying y'all believe Notre Dame gonna go into Miami and win that game? Y'all believe that? I don't know, bro. We gonna have to see about that. We gonna have to see, cause man, I don't know. Okay, they got Carson Beck, but Riley Leonard is gone. Riley Leonard is gone. I don't even know who Notre Dame new quarterback is, because being a Michigan fan, we don't pay attention to the little Irish man. We don't get down like that. Sometimes I hate Notre Dame more than I hate Ohio State, just because they get all of this recognition and they don't even have to play in the damn conference. They don't. They don't have to play in the conference. They get to control their schedule, and they get to waltz into the playoffs, which is some BS, but we can talk about that another time. But neither one of these teams right here, I don't believe that. If you believe that, then you don't really know football like that. If you believe that either one of those teams gonna win the championship. I know Notre Dame got that running back. I wouldn't mind having that running back on my team. That boy a beast. But he was hurt in the playoff. You know, he had a bum leg. I think it was a bum knee he had. Yeah. Yeah, he had a bum knee. But yeah, those are the matchups this weekend that, I'm going to be paying attention to. And, like I said, the toughest one to really get out of this whole group is going to be LSU Clemson. Like I said, don't underestimate Ohio State. They're gonna be about that. They're gonna be about that. And then all these other games is not really interesting. This Florida State game, I think Alabama gonna roll their ass. They gonna roll them. You know what I'm saying? Oregon ain't playing nobody. Oklahoma ain't playing nobody. Florida ain't playing. Yeah, they ain't none of these teams playing nobody. This game is not. I don't think this game gonna be that good. South Carolina got a lot of talent, and we gonna really see my man Sellers see what he about. That's what I want to see. I want to see what Sellers about. And then this Notre Dame Miami. Those is pretty much the highlights of the weekend. But yeah, we gonna have a lot that we gonna learn this weekend and see. But I'm really excited for the Coach Prime game tonight, and then also tomorrow that Texas Ohio State game. That's gonna be crazy. Um, and I think in a couple years, Michigan's supposed to be coming down to Austin, but yeah, it's gonna be real interesting to see this game. And I know next week we supposed to be going to Oklahoma, which is gonna be interesting as well. Um, but yeah, we're gonna move it on to the next subject, and we're gonna talk about the conspiracies and uh, all the stuff that people like to talk about with Shedeur Sanders and the NFL and collusion and all this other kind of stuff, right? Um, I find it very odd that a guy like Eric Dickerson would just come out and say what he said, you know, because it's like this dude is old school. This dude is from the old school. He a Hall of Famer. He not no BSer. Why would he come out and say what he said? It's like you got to sit there and question that if you're a real football fan. And then it was just really weird. Like, why would NFL Network have a whole setup at Dion's house, and the NFL wanted Shedeur to come to Green Bay, but they said that they wasn't coming because they had their own party, and the kid was always supposed to be a first round draft pick. Now, you could say, oh, well, he's Dion's son and this and that and this and that. But at the end of the day, all of y'all told us all year and even last year, oh, he would be a first round, second round pick. Okay, cool, whatever. Um, and I'm not even taking no sides here. I'm just looking at it from the outside, like, bro. And it's just very weird. Like when you watch that draft, it's very weird. It's weird. It's just weird, bro. It's weird. Um, you just look at the draft and you go, they drafted Tyler Shook. They drafted him. Like for real. Like for real, for real. This dude is old. He been in college a very long time. And he played at Louisville. And they weren't that good. So what did you see to draft him? I don't know. But for the last 2 years, ever since the Sanders got to um to Colorado, they were saying that this kid Shedeur Sanders was going to be a number one pick. And I know that I'm not a big guy. I know that I'm not like a famous person, but I'm just telling you, just my personal opinion from just seeing it is just wild. Like it's crazy, because from all my years of watching sports, I have never seen a player supposed to go top five go top 140. Like I've never seen that. And you talking about a kid that don't have domestic violence, don't have drug charges, don't have like okay, you got speeding tickets, but okay, everybody has a speeding ticket. But if that's all you got, then what happened to this kid? Like what exactly happened? And everybody's saying the interviews and everybody's saying, this and that. But to me, I'm just like, bro, this is crazy. This kid was supposed to be number 3. He just was. He didn't get drafted until the 5th round. And listen, man, me and my daughter, she like all on social media. She's like, Dad, they still didn't draft him? I'm like, no. And I swear to y'all, hands and God, I have never watched a draft after the first round. I never have. But for some reason this year I did, just because I was so intrigued to see where this kid went. And when I seen he didn't go the second day, I was like, oh wow, like this is crazy. This kid still didn't go. This is day 2. And then day 3 you waiting, and I'm thinking, hey, I don't even think they about to draft this kid. This is crazy. Like you could say he runs backwards and all that other kind of stuff, but to say that he was supposed to fall that far, I don't think you're being. If you really watch football and you really, you know, or is a student, not even a student of the game, but if you understand the ins and outs of football, this basic quarterback play and how he has the accuracy, how he delivers the ball, how he can, how he came back, you know, 2 minute drives, 1 minute drives, 50-second drives, and put points on the board. And then you say he's not good enough to be higher than a fifth round pick. That's crazy. Okay, because if you watch college football like I do, I seen Quinn Ewers. I knew he wasn't that good. You know he wasn't that good. If you watch Quinn Ewers, you knew he wasn't that good. He just wasn't. Okay. Now, the one person I was surprised by is that Will Howard. Will Howard, before he went to Ohio State, he was at Kansas State. He was a very good quarterback, very competitive. Won the Big 12 championship. He was really good. Um, and then Kyle McCord, when he was at Ohio State, I thought he was decent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say he was a first round talent. I'm not gonna go that far, but I thought McCord was decent. But I thought, the Sanders kid, he was at least the second round pick, at least that. Like I mean, and I'm not a Colorado fan, and I'm just like, man, like, and a lot of us watched Deion growing up and everything like that. I'm not comparing him to Deion. I'm not. I'm not doing that at all. But what I'm saying is that the kid is better than a fifth round pick. And it was just very interesting to see all these theories and all these things that everybody's saying. And yeah, it was just interesting to see it. And then now to see him in Cleveland and, see him, go about the way that he got to go about things. You can't say that that kid's not a first or second round pick. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. Um, Even with the running backwards, and I'm thinking to myself, they talking about him running backwards. I saw Mahomes do it. I saw Jackson do it. I saw Burrow do it. I've seen Hurts do it. But you want to pick on this kid because he's his last name and who his dad is. That's whack. I'm sorry, that's whack. I hate to see stuff like that, and it's sad. I hope the kid gets a fair shot. I'm rooting for him. Um, and like I said, everybody used to want to be Dion back in the day with the bandana and the wristband on the arm and on the elbows and all this and that. But we're not saying that he's Dion. What we're saying is that the kid can actually play football, like for real. Like just watch him. He can play for real. Like he really can play. And it's sad to see that, man, that these other quarterbacks, like you can give Blaine Gabbert a chance, but you can't give Shedeur a chance? Like for real? You can give Tyler Shook a chance, but you can't give Shedeur a chance? Why? Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they talk about, oh, he flashy, he got jewelry, blah, blah, blah. Bro, did you not see Jackson Dart he was doing the little dancing, showing off his chain, doing all that? Ain't nobody say nothing. Nobody ain't say nothing. But like I said, it must be just our color or our swag that people don't like. And it's kind of sad that it's like that. But then everybody wants to do everything that the black athletes doing. They want to have a chain. They want to have, the flashy clothes, the sunglasses, you know what I'm saying? The watch. You want all of that, but you don't want to have the same treatment that we get. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You completely steal somebody else's style and use it, and then when they do it, because it's from their culture, they get penalized for it. But when you steal from our culture, you good to go. Crazy work, man. It's crazy, and I hate to see things like that, when you see other guys get opportunities and other guys that deserve that same opportunity don't get it, it's wild to me. It's wild to me. It's wild to me. And, I haven't even mentioned the other quarterback's name because, to be honest, if you think that dude is better than Shedeur, then, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you at all. Um, I know he played at Oregon. I know he played at Oklahoma. I know he played at UCF. You know, but I also know he been playing ever before Shedeur and them while they were still in high school. This dude's you still here. Why you didn't go to the pros? You know what I'm saying? Why you ain't go to the pros when you got out of UCF? You want to know why? Because you wasn't gonna get drafted. Why you didn't go to the pros when you was at Oklahoma? Oh, because you wasn't gonna get drafted. Come on, man. And then they're gonna say, "Oh, well, he has so much experience." Because man, you've been in college for 80 years. Come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it. It's wild, bro. Stop it. Stop. Quit. Give it up, bro. It just bothers me, man. And then I hear these things like, "Oh, well, he's slow processing, and he went from learning Spanish to Portuguese." Bro, man, they try to use so many sneaky words to make it to basically say, "Well, he ain't smart enough to catch on to this." That's basically what you're saying, bro. That's what you're saying. Oh, he's not smart enough. He don't process fast enough. Like, are you for real? He don't process fast enough? Come on, man. So it's just like this. Oh, Shedeur doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the same, processing capabilities as Dylan. This dude played 4 years and started for 4 years. That's a lot of excuse me. That's a lot of football. That's a lot of football. A lot. And you gonna sit here and say that this dude don't know how to read defenses? He don't know how to send a guy into motion. He don't understand stunts. He don't understand how to call out the mic. Like they literally on TV. Oh, he pointed out the mic. That's a great job. He sent the receiver in motion. That's a great job. Come on, man. Now you just being disrespectful. Now you being disrespectful to all of us. Y'all gotta stop this mess, man. Y'all gotta cut it out. Y'all gotta cut it out. Just say that you don't like them. You don't want them there. Tell them that you want them to leave and have them leave. Don't sit there and say all of these side comments and sidebars and all this bull crap. Nobody want to hear that, man. Nobody want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? You telling me that Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shook is better than Shedeur? And I tell you, you crazy. That's why I tell you. Even Cam Ward knows that Shedeur is the real deal. He knows. He knows. But here's the thing about the NFL that people don't realize. If they not backing you, if they ain't got your back, if they not gonna build the team and the offense around you, and especially if they don't want you, you already at a disadvantage because you're going against the top players in the world. If they don't set you up for success, if they don't believe in you, then it's just like Louis Riddick said, he's ice skating uphill. Uphill. And I just wanted to get that off my chest to all you people, out there that's gonna be listening and following my show. This is my very first show. I would really like you guys to tell me, what you like, what you don't like, what you think I should do better, what should I work on. And as it say right there in the description, I am an Army combat vet, so I do this as a hobby. I've never been a part of communications or anything like that. I've never been a part of anybody's show or anything like that. I just have a passion for sports. I really love sports. I'm a kid that was born in Detroit. Um, Lost my mom at a very young age. Lost my grandma at a very young age. Uh, Finally got to be with my father. Later on in my life. Went to high school um, in Ypsilanti. My high school not even open no more. I went to Willow Run actually. Um, then I went off to college in Grand Rapids for a little bit. Then I skeeted on down to Ohio, and I went to this school called Bluffton University. It's kind of like in between, I'd say Findlay and Lima, if you know where that's at. Um, Met a lot of cool people, had a lot of cool friends. I actually met Ben Roethlisberger's mom. I believe she was like an administrator or something like that at our college. I don't know exactly what she was, but she had some involvement with our college. And I remember I used to go to Findlay and go out there to some of the parties, go to Bowling Green, and then have fun out there at Frickers. So even though I'm a Michigan kid, I know a lot of people in Ohio, and I know a lot of Ohio State fans. So if y'all see this, what's up with y'all? Um, and then I went off to the military, of course. I'd have been, Germany, Japan, South Korea, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan. Um, where else? I never went to Iraq. Never been there. Just Afghanistan. Uh, I'm trying to think where else I've been. Ireland. Um, I already said Kyrgyzstan, and been to Kuwait. I guess the only continents I haven't touched is Africa, and I haven't touched Antarctica, and I haven't touched South America. But everywhere else, I've been everywhere else. Um, every other continent, yeah. Um, yeah. So that's my story. Um, I didn't rehearse this. I just did this straight up raw. Um, cause that's just how I am. I'm just a real dude. Um, and yeah, shout out to all the people out here just doing their thing. And the only reason I'm doing this is because my daughter know that I have PTSD and stuff like that from Afghanistan, and she'd be like, "Dad, you know so much about sports. You should say something. You should do your own show on this and that." And I'm just like, man, ain't nobody gonna want to listen to me. And she's like, just do it. And, if you like it, just keep doing it. So I said, okay, I'll try it out. And, see how it goes and see how it works, and go from there. So this is me trying it, just seeing how it is. I'm a real dude, always have been. Um, and for that, that's going to be the end of the show. Uh, like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully in the future, if everything is going well, I'll be able to bring y'all more shows and talk about more topics. But this is just me just breaking the ice and being the guy that I am. And I thank y'all.